Continue here along the way on a busy afternoon as we chat to you about what's cooking as far as the world of sports is concerned. Eric in Long Island, he's an Eagle fan, so he wants something to say about that, about the Vikings, but I want to get his thoughts on Minnesota first. Eagles were lucky to get out of that game, too. They did a good job on that last drive, but that game was there for the losing as well. Eric, good afternoon. How are you today, pal?
I'm doing good, dog. Before I get to the Eagles, I think what gets overlooked in this Minnesota game is the fact that really there is no Drew Brees going down the field and the Minneapolis Miracle if Pat Shurmur and the Vikings play this right. There's a minute 40 to go on the Saints 40. The Saints have one timeout left, all right? The fact that Minnesota, in that particular sense, threw 3 passes, 2 which were incompletions. The second down, it was a 2nd and 10. They throw a 5-yard out to Kyle Rudolph, who happens to go out of bounds.
Yeah, that was a mistake.
The fact that they mishandled that, then Drew Brees should never have gotten the ball back. And if anything, Kai Forbath should be settling for a 46-yarder as time expires.
I agree.
Send them to the end. Good
point.
To me, that gets overlooked. Nobody talks about that.
That's because they won the game anyway. So as a result, nobody's going to discuss it. But you're right. The clock management in both sequences. I didn't like the Atlanta clock management, by the way, because they completed a pass down to the 3-yard line on their 4-down scenario against the Eagles, and I don't believe in completing passes on 3rd and goal. The ball better be in the end zone, not in the field of play. So where Atlanta mishandled that, dog, being at the game, I know you've gotten on the Eagle crowd before. It was a tremendous crowd. Yeah, the crowd did a good job. I agree.
Everybody was up, constantly on 3rd down. But where Atlanta mishandled that is when they had the 1st and goal at the 9. What they should have done is with Sarkisian is they should have run the ball at least on 1st
one time,
2nd down with Tevin Coleman, who had 10 carries and 79 yards.
Yeah, they should have.
Basically, he was the only guy that was basically eating us alive. Well, let me just say this, dog, because I've gotten on this Eagle defense for many years, under Jimmy Johnson and even past that. You go back to the 08 championship game when they trailed by 19 at halftime. They came back. They took a 25-24 lead on Arizona. Warner leads them down the field. You go back to when Nick Foles played a playoff game a couple years back. He left with the lead. The Saints come down the field with Drew Brees and score. The fact that this team, I know it had a lot to do with the play calling, but the fact that they rose up on a 1st and goal with 9-yard line with their history and not becoming a big-time defense, to me, I know we talk a lot about the Viking defense, and you and I will get into the X's and O's later in the week. Now's not the time for that. But let's give the Eagle defense a lot of credit. Maybe this defense, for once, is special. Maybe this is the defense that finally gets us to a Super Bowl, and then we'll take our shot at going up against
again, Eric, that's for Thursday and Friday. If you're an Eagle fan right now, you would hate the way Minnesota won that game. Because they have a lot of karma going into Philadelphia. You are going to have to really put a stake through them. They don't believe they're out of the game under any circumstances. They've won a game on the road, and they've won games on the road in the post in big spots all year. They believe now that was an incredible win. That is going to be a very hard game to win for the Eagles on Sunday afternoon. Very hard.
Listen, we have 2 things going for us there. We're at home, all right? The crowd will be behind us. If you would have told me back in September we were hosting a championship game with Case Keenum as the quarterback.
I'll buy that.
Let me just say this, dog, before I go. Two instances where it might not have worked out. Carlton Fisk in 75 hits the homer for the Red Sox. Game 6, they lose Game 7 to the Reds at home.
That's also a team. That's also a team that's got a huge curse on it with the Red Sox. But go ahead, next. Let me hear.
And what about the immaculate reception with Franco Harris? The following game, they lose to the Dolphins. So sometimes, dog, I understand what they got going for them right now, but that's going to be a lot on their plate this
Good boy.
week. With
Good boy.
With the pressure of the home game looming, maybe it backfires against them.
Well, I would first off, Eric, let me answer the Red one easy. The Reds hadn't won a championship since 1940 when Fisk hit the homer in 75, and they had lost the 70 World Series to the Orioles. 72, they lost to the Mets. They should never have lost. They were far better. 72. 72 to 73. They lost to the Mets. They were 70 to the Orioles. 70 lost Game 7 to Oakland at home. 73 they lost to the Mets, which they never should have lost. That franchise was crushed in big spots. So they had to withstand Fisk to win the whole thing. That's what I would say about the Reds. The Reds showed you all their mettle because they had to overcome something that was dramatic to win their championship. I mean, they lose Game 6 with a big lead in the 8th inning, 6-3, and then they're down 3-0 in Game 7 and win the game. The Dolphin one with Pittsburgh is interesting because obviously Pittsburgh hadn't won forever. Now, they hadn't had a long history because they were so bad all the time. You know, it wasn't like they had 4 or 5 years of being big-time teams. I mean, if you look at Pittsburgh in 72, that was their first good year in a very long time. The Steelers in 72, they were 11-3. They lost to Miami 21-17. In 71, Pittsburgh was 6-8. In 70, they were 5-9. In 69, Pittsburgh was 1-13. In 68, Pittsburgh was 2-11-1. Pittsburgh was just inept. They did not get their hearts broken. They were inept. The Reds got their heart broken. So be careful if you're an Eagle fan. I'm going to be on this all week with the Eagles and the momentum now that Green Bay, that I believe that Minnesota has. We'll see how it works out. Dave in New York City. He's on Mad Dog Unleashed. Dave, good afternoon. How are you today? What do you have for me?
I'm well, Chris. How are you today?
Fine, Dave. Thanks. What's going on?
I want to talk about the Saints defense. Doug, I'll give you 3 examples. Green Bay, Dallas last year, Giants, Eagles week 3, and yesterday. When will these coaches learn? Take all your defensive linemen out of the game, jam 5 guys at the line, and leave 6 guys guarding the sidelines. When are they going to learn? There is no point in having 3 defensive linemen on the field. It's a 5-step drop, get rid of the ball. There's nothing else they can do with no timeouts. Everyone get it?
Yeah, for me, they have to keep a guy basically back at the goal line.
Yeah,
I want a safety, your best tackler. I want that player in that sequence. I want him back at the goal line. That way, if anybody gets by the first line of defense, there is at least one tackler there who can make a tackle. Now, whether he's going to be successful remains to be seen, but he had too much room to run untouched for the touchdown.
And another point on Diggs, this one on said in the broadcast, how about the presence of mind by him when you're being told, get out of bounds, to not just run out of bounds and then realize, oh, my God, I could have scored. That's a great job by him.
Excellent point. We'll come back with that Buck play-by-play in a sec. It's a good one. We continue here on Mad Dog Unleashed.